If you're in a situation where you have to hit somebody with brass knuckles, if you get away from it, you need to get in your car, drive to another fucking town, and drop them in the sewer. Before we go any further, you're gonna hear me say this a lot in this video, but I'm gonna say it out loud at the outset of the video. Do not hit somebody with brass knuckles. It is not worth it. I was kind of going through my office today looking for different things, and I came across what I want to talk about today. Today's video, I'd like to talk about brass knuckles, or knuckle dusters, as they're sometimes called. Brass knuckles and fist loads, that kind of thing, they've been around forever. Probably some of the earliest weapons that existed were things like this, to protect your hand, but also to be a force multiplier. Okay, I'm in my garage. What do I have here? A giant piece of plywood for no reason. Okay, you don't want to punch this. Okay, that hurts. That's just a little strike. Okay, it's hard. Nothing. I didn't feel that. So, I mean, that's a full force blow. Okay, so it protects your hand. And it also gives you a little bit more confidence to throw these big blows. Yeah, there's a very big dent in that. Same thing with a hammer fist. Putting that force down, multiplies that blow so much that somebody's skull is cracked, period. The point is, if you're in a life or death fight, I mean, that's a dead man right there. That's missing teeth. That's a broken orbital socket. That's a broken rib. I carried brass knuckles for a lot of years when I was a kid. Thankfully, I've never had to hit anybody with them, but I've seen it before. The guy that I saw get hit with brass knuckles got fucked up. His head was like dented. Getting hit with brass knuckles will change your whole life. You are not the same guy afterwards. I mean, my advice is very simple. If a guy comes at you with brass knuckles, run away. If you can't run away, shoot him. So today I thought we'd go over a little bit of what they are, why people carry them, what not to do, and my own personal experiences with them. First and foremost, knuckle dusters are exactly what you think. They are a hard, generally metal contraption that fits over your knuckles to increase the power of your punch in hand-to-hand combat. Knuckle dusters are made with a lot of different materials these days. You can get really nice brass ones. You can get ones made out of stainless steel, epoxy, whatever. It's anything that will essentially multiply the force of your punch. Now, the thing about brass knuckles is in a lot of places, in a lot of states, they are very, very illegal to carry. You can own them, but in a lot of places, it's not legal to carry them on you. It's weird. I live in Idaho. Literally, it's frowned upon much more to hit somebody with brass knuckles than it is to shoot them in the face. You can open carry here any gun you want. You can walk into a fucking grocery store with an AR-15, nobody bats an eye. But if you hit somebody with brass knuckles, you're going to jail. Who knows why? It's one of those things kind of like butterfly knives or switchblades that has kind of a stigma attached to it. Reminds people of like gangsters or I don't know. But the thing is this, brass knuckles are dangerous, very dangerous. They have one purpose and one purpose only, to kill a person in a hand-to-hand fight. There's a lot of variables when it comes to punching people. Like you've seen on a boxing match when people get their eyes and their head split open and shit, that's underneath a glove. The skin on your face and your scalp and your head is very thin and it's very vascular. It's very easy to cause a lot of damage, a lot of blood, just with a regular punch. People die in street fights with just a regular right hook. So imagine that you have something on here now that your bones will yield to, and you're swinging with that same force. Okay, these are incredibly dangerous. Nothing to fuck around with. You hit somebody with this, you are going to jail. Even in an open carry state, you hit somebody with brass knuckles, it's not going to look good. The only circumstance where it's appropriate, in my opinion, to use brass knuckles, the apocalypse. Outside of that, there's better options. If you get just in a regular bar fight and you hit somebody with brass knuckles, number one, you're a pussy. Number two, you're playing a very dangerous game. You're gambling with somebody else's life. It's better to walk away. However, real talk, the other reason that these exist is that it takes one guy, turns them into five guys. Okay, if you're fighting 3 or 4 people, for some reason you can't get away from it, this is a very, very quick way for somebody who doesn't even have a lot of combat experience or hand-to-hand fighting skills to even the odds. You hit somebody with this, they're going to be fucked up. Even if you're not a boxer, you're not an MMA fighter, there are a lot of ways to make this effective. You hit somebody in the head just with an average punch wearing brass knuckles, you are splitting them open. It's guaranteed. Most people, when they see blood, they smell blood, or they taste their own blood, they're done fighting. So if you got 4 or 5 guys and you're swinging wildly, but you're making connecting even a little bit with brass knuckles, you're probably going to get out of there. you're at least going to fuck people up. I'm going to tell you the truth, though. If you're in a situation where you're fighting 5 guys and your life's in danger and you pull out brass knuckles, you should have already started shooting. All that being said, I've carried them for many, many years. I like impact weapons. I collect them. Um, God forbid I'm ever in a position where I have to use one. With all things being equal, if you're for some reason in a position where you're using brass knuckles, let's talk it over. Brass knuckles are really effective. And for me, the cool thing about it is that it's effective even if you don't know how to fight. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to use brass knuckles that are still effective no matter what happens. Number one, if you don't have experience throwing jabs or whatever, that's okay. And something that's worth noting is that it's not a good idea to put them way back here. That's kind of like for the movies. It's much more effective to have them here, less impact on your knuckles and your joints and stuff if you actually hit somebody. Most people, when they get in a fight, adrenaline takes over. They forget what they've learned to do. Unless you're a trained fighter, unless you're fighting every single day and it's muscle memory, most people, when they get in fights, are just swinging wildly. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. For normal people, it's unnecessary. Get brass knuckles on, you know, say you kind of are forgetting your stances and stuff. Literally hammer fist. You just broke his wrist. You are breaking his arm. Rabbit punches, little ones, kind of like when in a knife fight, you flick cut like that, you know. Okay, bridge of the nose. They're done. Nobody wants to fight when they have a broken nose. Smashing them in the neck if you got them down, on the forehead, into their mouth. You hit somebody in the mouth with brass knuckles, their teeth are gone. That's even with a light strike. That's just fucking around. That's, playing. Teeth are gone. That's it. They're incredibly dangerous weapons. The other thing that makes brass knuckles such a good weapon, especially for people who don't know how to fight, it's very difficult to take it from you. This is on your hand. It's very unlikely that this is going to come off unless you want it to. Nobody can take these from you in the middle of a fight. Knives are not like that. Knives, you're gripping in a different way. You can smash somebody. Their hand opens up, a knife hits the floor. If the knife has a guard on the bottom of it, they can get underneath that, try to wiggle it out of your hands. I would challenge somebody to try to get this away from me if I'm in the middle of a fight. Brass knuckles are lightweight. They usually weigh between half and 3/4 of a pound. So not lightweight, but easily carried, easily concealed, easily thrown away if you hit somebody with them. If you're in a situation where you have to hit somebody with brass knuckles, if you get away from it, you need to get in your car, drive to another fucking town, and drop them in the sewer. Kind of with the rise and popularity of the EDC community, you also see things like this. Also solid brass, really well machined. Again, this is a force multiplier. You get hit with that point, you're going to be fucked up. You're going to be cut open. This is actually marketed. It has a little lanyard hole, a keychain, and it is meant for breaking glass if you happen to get stuck in your car, officer. This is a glass breaker. That is it. Just in case I fall in the river, officer, and I may have to punch my way out of my car. Wanted to talk about brass knuckles, give you my opinion on them. Are brass knuckles effective? 100%. Are you going to go to jail if you use them? 100%.